Hello Daily Drafters, today is Monday, February 21st, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. As we get into the draft here, don't forget that we would like to extend a special shout out and thank you to all those in the subscriber community for choosing to spend a part of your day here with me. And for those of you that are not subscribed yet, go ahead and click that red subscribe button attached to this video. Remember, it's absolutely free, never going to cost you a dime, and you'll then have access to the most consistent, high-quality, limited content on YouTube. And as we dive into this pack one, pick one here, we have an interesting one. I've liked red decks that are based around cheap red removal and experimental synthesizers. And there's a Jin-Gitaxias Progress Tyrant is here as well. It's a 7 mana blue card, but it is a really good build around. There's not really an instant or sorcery deck in this format, but if we can pair this with red, it goes a long way. And I don't know, a 7 mana 5/5 that's almost impossible to remove, counters basically all their instant sorceries and artifacts, and doubles ours. Seems like a crazy card. And I'm going to start with it here and see if we can try to build around it. Alright, so a couple of options here. I see the Modern Age, which goes well with Jin-Gitaxias because it's blue and helps us get there. There's also Touch the Spirit Realm and Experimental Synthesizer. I think it's between those three cards here. And they're all three different colors. The Modern Age is a way to stay blue, obviously. Touch the Spirit Realm's a good removal spell, but I think I'm actually going to go ahead and go with Experimental Synthesizer here because with Jin-Gitaxias, I think we want to pair it with red and try to get a couple of cheap red removal spells and some artifacts and things like that and really bridge the way to this and use this ability to copy those removal spells and artifacts. Definitely wouldn't be disappointed taking either of these, but I'm going to lean toward the synthesizer here. And then we see a Voltage Surge and a Kami's Flare, which is exactly what we're looking for. The only problem is we're passing our neighbor the first Kami's Flare and this Voltage Surge, so we could be putting our neighbor into red as well, which is something I don't like, but, we can't really be too concerned exactly what we're passing. We just want to take the cards that are going to be good for our deck, and none of these blue ones go well with Jin-Gitaxias. So we're going to take the Kami's Flare. Blue is drying up quick, and there's really no red cards that I want either, unfortunately. So, the best card in this pack is probably Oni Cult Anvil. And because we have Synthesizer and Kami's Flare, I think I'm going to take it here to bridge that gap and see if Jin-Gitaxias isn't going to make the deck. Because I'm not playing Spell Pierce, and I'm not going to take one of these colorless cards to try to help us really go down red-blue. And Oni Cult Anvil is a very good card in red-black, and we already have a decent red-black start if you discount our first pick. So we'll see if blue comes, but for now we'll go this route. And again, blue is basically 100% dried up. There's a decent-ish red card. It looks like white is pretty open, specifically white-black. Arrest, Pillar, Kami, and Lethal Exploit. I think I'm going to take Lethal Exploit here. Maybe lean towards red-black. Don't think we need to bridge in any of this white, at least not yet. So we'll take Lethal Exploit as a good red-black card. Again, really no blue. Mnemonic Sphere is fine, but Swiftwater Cliffs, this isn't really a splashable card either. So if we're looking at red-black, we're probably going to go Scrounger here. There is a late Jukai Preserver again, which has happened almost every draft this format. This card goes so late. I don't know why. I think it's the best card in this pack by a good bit, but we're so far away from green right now that I don't want to take it. So I think we'll take this Scrounger as a good red-black artifact for us. And then there's pretty much nothing for really anyone. Moth Rider Patrol's good. There's no red or black. There is blue, but all of it's not great. Familiar's fine. Don't want to take Reckoner Shakedown. So I guess we take Familiar. if we end up going blue. Interesting. So there's another Naomi. I don't think anyone in this table is in white-black specifically. And maybe we just take it to hedge here. Don't want Operative, don't want Kami, don't care about this card. Sphere is whatever, don't care about Emergence, Seven-Tailed Mentors, whatever. And this is clearly the best card. So we're a little bit all over the place here, but we'll see what comes our way. Kumano faces Kakazan is a really good 1-drop, so it's 1 mana, basically deal 1 to them. Next creature we cast enters with 1/1 counter, and then it turns into a 2/2 haste. All for 1 mana, which is pretty good. Terrarium could help us splash. Maybe like splash Naomi in a red-black deck. But I think I'm going to go with Kumano here. Then we see Kami of Terrible Secrets, Return to Action, and Blade Blesser, which are all fine. I think I'm going to take the Kami. Even in a red-black artifacts kind of based deck, I think we can end up with enough enchantments to make this decent. I don't think we're going to miss these cards too much. If we want a copy of these, I think they'll be able to come around. Upriser Renegade seems fine. Depends on how much we're able to modify things. This is a way to modify. This is also a way to splash. And this is an artifact. Red-black tends to be a little bit more aggressive. I think I'll take Centipede, but if this were any other card, I'd take this Scoured Barons to leave the option of splashing Naomi alive here. I'll take another Kami. These cards don't matter. And I don't want to play a Shakedown here. So, a little interesting of a first pack. I think red-black is where we want to go, but I don't think blue is really open here. I mean, we really have to get pushed into blue to play this Jin Gataxias, but I don't think that's it. So here, we have a couple good options. We've got Takenuma Abandoned Mire, which is just a great land in itself. There's Okiba Reckoner Raid, which is one of the better black commons, as well as Twisted Embrace. And there's another Kami's Flare. So, I don't know exactly which route we want to go between Embrace, Kami's Flare, and Okiba Reckoner Raid here. And Takenuma, to be honest, I think I'm going to take... I don't know. I think I'm going to take Kami's Flare, but I would not fault you for taking any one of those cards there, especially the land and the Twisted Embrace. All of those seem totally fine. They're all very good removal spells. I'm just leaning on the cheaper side here because red-black usually wants to be a little cheaper, and with the synthesizer and the hope of getting more, if we flip 4 and 5 drops off of that, it makes it much more difficult to activate that second ability. So we want some cheaper cards to be able to do that. Here, if we were money drafting in real life, we'd take beside you. This card's like $25-$30 in real life. But we are not doing that. So here we are probably considering Steelbreaker versus Blade Blesser and not really being happy with either of them. Guess we'll take Scrapyard Steelbreaker. It's just another artifact. Can sacrifice some of the ones we already have, I guess. But not really looking to play many of these cards. 0 red in the pack, which we kind of expected because we put our opponent into red very early. There is Containment Construct, which right now we don't have any ways to discard. So that doesn't really do much for us. There's also Spirit Sister's Call, but I don't think we have the enchantments really needed to do that yet. The only black card is Kaido's Pursuit, so we might be drafting red-black right behind this person who's also in red-black, which is not good. I guess we'll just cut the only black card. I don't think we're going to play any of these other cards here, and don't even know if we're going to play that one. Very underwhelming third pick. So here We have Clawing Torment, You Are Already Dead, an Explosive Entry. Another Containment Construct with no ways to discard, so things drying up very quickly for us. Not liking to see this. I think it's between Entry and Clawing Torment. I guess I'll take Entry, but I don't really want to start that in the main deck either. So green wide open. And I think it's a little too late to switch. Pick 5 Generous Visitor, Azusa's Many Journeys, Bamboo Grove Archer, Network Disruptor. I mean, all these cards are great, and we're going to have to take something much less great than all of that. We could take Hoverbike, I suppose. But right now we have 8 creatures, 7 creatures, 6 creatures. I mean, and they're all like 3+ drops. So not liking where this is going. We're getting cut very quickly here. But at this point in the draft, if we switch, I don't think we'll make playables. So we're kind of stuck where we're at. I think we could take Clawing Torment and be happy about it. There is an Iron Apprentice, but I don't think that's for us either. I don't really care about Unstoppable Ogre. Okay, so Reinforced Ronin. Do we have any Artifact ETBs yet? Just the Song Shaper. Works well with Oni Cult Anvil, because we will have an artifact leave the battlefield during our turn every turn if we play this and then just return it. So we get a 1/1 every turn. Then we could sacrifice an artifact. So works fine. And I think there's a couple ways to make this card even better. There's a Voltage Surge that came back, so that's very good. Don't know where that was from, but we'll be happy to take it here. Runaway Trashbot seems fine. There's another Kami, but right now we have 2 enchantments. And don't even know if we want to play that one. What's the other one? Kumano, I guess. So we will take Trashbot here. Don't care about either of these cards. Don't care about any of this for our deck. Don't think we're going to play You're Already Dead. I'd play that if we had like 2 or 3 Virus Beetles, but currently we don't have any, so who knows. So, little underwhelming first 2 packs here. I think we really need something to go our way in the third one. And from a first glance, I'm not seeing it. So Springleaf Avengers, great in green. I think we could have had a great green deck again if we had kind of picked up on that late Jukai Preserver in pack 1 and then gone with it. But here it's between Simian Sling, Iron Hoof Boar, Blade Blesser. I don't think Salvage is what we want. I think I'm going to take just the cheap Simian Sling and not really be super happy with it here. Again, a bit of a whiff. Enormous Energy Blade, no thank you. I guess we'll take a Scrounger. Kami of Industry. I don't even know what we're returning with that matters. So we'll take the Scrounger here. Maybe Risona is worth trying to splash. But we don't have any ways to do that yet, so we'll just take that card. There's another Simian Sling, a Return to Action, and a Goshentai of Hidden Cruelty. We could take this and hedge our bets that we find the red one. But we only have a few more packs to find that red one. So I think I'm just going to take the Sling, and maybe we get rewarded with this Wheeling, but I doubt it. It's a decent card in its own right. There's also Return to Action, which might not be horrible in this kind of deck. I just don't really see how we're winning games here. I mean, our best creature is a 3/4. So I'm not exactly sure what we're doing. Can we splash blue? So when this enters the battlefield, search their land, then For as long as you control, you may play one of those exiled cards and spend it as a mana of any color. It's either that or we already have this in the sideboard. We already have this in the sideboard. We're not playing a Gift of Wrath, so I guess we'll take this and see if the fixing comes. There's a return to action here. Aki Ember Keeper and Ninja's Kunai. I think I'll take the Kunai. There's another removal spell and a cheap artifact. But again, we don't really have a lot of the artifact synergies that are needed for this deck. How many enchantments do we have? 2? Not quite enough for our double Kami already. Ember Keeper would make that 3. And it's a 2-drop. So I think we can take the Ember Keeper to help our Kamis get a little bit better at the very least. And we have a couple ways to modify creatures here with double Sling, Ninja's Kunai, Chain Flail Centipede. So we have a couple ways to modify creatures with the Ember Keeper. Seems fine enough. Take another Kumano Faces Kakazan here. So I think we're going to be very aggressive. Kind of a 16 land red-black deck here, I would think. We do have 12 artifacts and currently 4 enchantments. So it's not so bad. So we have Ogre versus Blade Blesser. I think I'd rather have a Blade Blesser as a good attacker. That'll usually be a 3-mana 3/2 Menace Death Touch, which is very good. Because we have double enchantment here. We have an enchantment here, which I think we're going to have to run to make our Kamis better. And then we have an enchantment here. Guess we'll take Kami, but probably not play it. Return to action. I think that's okay. Do we have a copy in the sideboard yet? We don't. I think return to action is a fine enough trick to play here in this deck. Don't think we're playing either of those red or black cards. So we didn't really get there with a red-black deck here. Another return to action. Yeah, we did not quite read the table well enough. I think green might have been the color to get into, but not exactly sure. Looking back on it, I have to go rewatch that draft to see where I should have ended up. So I think we could go 16 lands here. And that would mean we cut that, and then we'd probably have to cut... I don't think we want double Scrounger because we're looking to be a little bit more aggressive here. All of these seem fine, though. Maybe second return to action. And then this can be at the top of the curve to threaten something, you know. It's a 4-mana 3/4, but for as many artifacts as you have, they have to kind of block this each turn if they don't have good blockers. Like, say they have a few 2/2s, they have to kind of chump this every turn because the threat of activation here is going to be big with, you know, 11 artifacts in this deck. A couple of random slings, a Ninja's Kunai, you know, a synthesizer sitting on the battlefield, things like that. That makes this very threatening. So I think we'll run it back like this and hope that we can go underneath some of the big stuff happening in this format. So, see how game 1 goes. Uh-oh, playing against the MTG Master here. Not liking our chances. We'll keep this. I think we can start with Ninja's Kunai. And then we can hold up a couple of these removal spells. Probably have to use it on that. Do we do it now? Let's just do it now. I don't want to run into any... submit 0. Don't want to run into any sort of tricks or ninjutsus or anything like that. So we're just going to kill that now. That has Ward 2, so we will just play our Trash Bot. Call their bluff. Then we can play Aki Ember Keeper here. They have some sort of counter spell, maybe? I'm not sure. Do we equip or leave up Kami? I think we could just pass and leave up Kami's Flare here. Okay, so we're gonna bounce probably Trash Bot to our hand. Yep. And then they'll pass, probably attack, and we can just gain some life, return it to the battlefield. Okay, so now we can... I'm going to play one of these and then attack. I think we could offer this trade right now. I'd be fine doing it. Okay. And then this is a 1-power creature now. If we draw a land, we could play this and equip it. But I think they had some sort of counterspell, and I'd prefer this one resolve. So we'll get Centipede down. So they missed their land drop here. We'll attack for 4. And hit them, and see if they want to counter Mr. Trash Bot or not. They do. Okay, that's fine. Wasn't doing a ton for us. That'll be a problem. We don't really have a great way to deal with it. This gives -3/-3. So... yeah, so I think we're just going to have to attack here as a 4/2. And I don't really want a 2-for-1 myself to get rid of this, so I'll just play this to start, and then if this starts getting out of hand, we might have to, is the problem. Let's see if they take advantage of it here. Yep, instantly take advantage of it. Jeez. Okay. So they're going to be able to shoot this down as well next turn. But they'll be able to do that as long as they have a creature. And they have a priority for a single white. We'll equip this because it at least gives us a modified creature for this, but in case they play a 3-drop before they equip this and kill it. No, they'll just start by doing that. Okay. Sure. All that happens. My turn. Reinforced Ronin. I think we'll play it and try to hit them. Because we can have Kami's Flare. As long as we have this kunai here, the Kami's Flare can actually deal a couple damage to their face. Oh, that's a bit awkward. Sure. Okay. So we are going to equip this though, because this again makes both of these cards better. I know we can't tap it to use it, but it makes both these cards better. Okay. Looking in their graveyard for something, because they can cast an enchantment. We will attempt to kill. I think we'll go ahead and try to use the flare on this one. Okay. And now we have to use exploit on it. So, really relying on the top of our deck, but their deck is probably built to, yeah, now we're dealing with 7 powers of flyers, so looks like they went over the top of us, and we'll just go ahead and do our typical top deck of lands to get out of this game here. There's some more flyers. Another 2/2. There's our last land that we knew was coming, and then we'll concede. So, as soon as that specialist came down, we just couldn't get through it. Seems like it'll be a problem for this deck. Alright, decent little curve here. And we've got all 3 mana to cast everything in the hand, so it's pretty good. Era of Enlightenment, okay. Draw nothing but lands again. Hopefully that means we're done doing that for the rest of the game. Dramatist's Puppet. Okay, so they'll flip this into a 2/2, it looks like, if they want to. Yep. And then that just sits there as a 2/4. Alright. So I think we can exploit this as the first striker. And then hold up Flare. Yeah, so we want to get rid of this first striker for sure. And then we can use the Flare to kill this if they block. And I think it's worth trying to let them do that. Alright, good. So they will. So we'll kill it. Twin Shot Sniper is going to be a beast. Nice little 2-for-1. And then we can dump our hands, I suppose, right? Yep. That's not how we want to tap. And next turn we might not even get the value out of this. So we might just want to save the sling to get the value, to be honest. It's just going to be a 2/2, but it's at least something. So we'll just pass. It's cheap enough that if we draw something else we'd rather play, then we can just hold on to that. So, okay. So we'll try to get this value now if we can. Alright. And can't really do much. I mean, we could attack with both, but they have all their mana up, so they could do the similar thing that we did. Just bounce it and then kill it with the Kami's Flare or something like that. So I don't think we will attack. Alright, they're playing some sort of like 5-color something or other. They have access to all 5 colors already, which is kind of scary. Alright, so that's going to be a 4-6, 4-5. Can't really block it. Clawing Torment. I guess we could just put the Clawing Torment on that. It becomes a 1-2. Then we have some decent attacks, and this would hurt them every turn. So I think now we can actually attack with everything. And I know they have the same kind of trick potentially up, but I'm going to go ahead and try to push some damage here. Alright, got some through. Then we can try to... well, no, I think I'd rather have this as a creature, so... go ahead and just pass. Gosh, they're doing all kinds of splish splashy stuff over there. Okay. They'll probably just drop some 6-drop. Oh god. Yeah, I see it. And we will just keep on drawing lands. So next turn, they're going to bounce one of our creatures and make us draw a discard a card. So we'll keep one of the lands. We'll discard that to the Kami War. And then the following turn, they will end up with a 6/6 everything that we'll just die to. Oh, they want to replay their Twin Shot Sniper. Okay. Yeah, so I think at this point we're pretty much dead. As expected. I mean, they end up with the 6/6 flying trample, attacks, exiles cards, everything. So we'll play this. I mean, I guess we can attack with Trashbot, but like, what does that even do, really? I mean, it trades with a portrait, I guess. Oh, God. Okay. Alright, 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 I'm done, I'm done. Alright, so this hand kind of sucks. So we'll keep. Draw a red card that we can't play. And then see if we just get mana screwed out of this game. Be a quick little video for you today. Sure. Go ahead. Alright, they will gain 2 here. We will draw and play this so we don't have to discard a card. Okay. Oh look, we found a land. I think we can play... probably Scrounger to start here. Against red-white, we just want to flood the board as much as we can. This also leaves it out of the reach of Kami's Flare or Voltage Surge. So that is an advantage of playing an X4 here. Exemplar. Makes sense. This This could open this up to Kami's Flare removal. But we're playing against red-white. We got to preserve our life total here. All right, so we'll miss another land drop, and then we can go Sling plus Hold Up Return to action. We can also just like Trash Bot or Centipede. I think I actually want to do this and Hold Up Return to action because they can attack with a 2/2 again. And then we can kill it with Return to action if we block with Scrounger. But it's not the most mana efficient if they don't attack. So, in the interest of mana efficiency and staying out of Kami's Flare again, I'm just going to play at 0-4. And no attacks. Okay. Awkward. We'll just try to bounce it here. Okay, so they'll just kill our 0-4. Fine. Get to make a treasure at the very least. And then Voltage Surge. That'll be pretty good on this board. However, we're still missing land drops. So, probably, let's see. We can go Song Shaper, hold up both of these. We can go Centipede, hold up Voltage Surge, which is good on this board. I think I'd rather do that. Hopefully they don't kill it on our end step. They killed it on our end step. Okay. So they can sacrifice this to protect it if we go for the Voltage Surge. But then we can kill Heiko next turn with Kami's Flare. So, let's try to bounce it. See if they go for another combat trick. They do. So if we do Voltage Surge, they're going to protect it. But again, that leaves it open for us to kill this one next turn. No. Wait, not cancel. Submit 0. Okay, so they'll go ahead and protect it with Selfless Samurai here. Almost assuredly. And we'll create a treasure. And Heiko's the one that can do artifacts. I don't currently have any, but would prefer to kill that. So if we play Sling and then kill this, we're pretty stable. I mean, Song Shaper and then kill that, we're pretty stable. So I want to do that. And I'm just going to do it now. Again, because they could have all sorts of +X combat tricks. Okay, now we're not stable. We'll miss another land drop, and then I guess we have to play Kami's Flare on this now. Sure. Go ahead. Okay, we'll have to trade here, or at least attempt to. They do have some sort of instant. Here's the Wanderer's Intervention. Oh look, a land. So we could just play a 3/4, but that doesn't block anything. We could do Anvil. So we can only use this if we have enough creatures on the battlefield to actually block. I don't think Kami is going to get us a card in a life this game. So they're just going to keep on. They've drawn like 6 cards off of this. They're going to keep on drawing cards. We can do this, and the next turn we can do Sling and hold up Return to Action. Just so we can get this on the battlefield here. They'll just keep drawing cards. That'll be pretty good for them. There's another one. So I think we can play everything out of our hand here at the very least. So whenever one or more leave the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1, and you could sack it to deal 1 to each opponent and you gain 1 life. It has to be during your turn though. So we'll try to kill whatever they attack with. Well, actually, at this point, we can't do that either because they can tap down 2 of our creatures. So looks like we're going to lose to a red-white deck here. Sure. And then they get 3 more cards. Red-white with all the card draw. Okay. Sure. They have drawn like 18 cards this game. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I get it. And then we can't cast Return to Action, so yeah, we'll pass the turn. It's probably death. Let's see, so if they attack with everything, block, 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 we take 5. Let's see if they see it. Five triggers. Okay. 6 triggers. 7 triggers. Alright. Holy moly. This is like the best red-white aggro deck I've seen in this entire format. An 11/4. Okay. Let's block here. I mean, guess we sacrifice it. And then we'll pass the damage, go to our turn, draw a land, and die. So, hope you liked this very quick video today. A nice, quick little 03, 40 minutes. Get on with your day, and don't do what I did, because this deck was absolutely horrible. I think this deck needed a lot to make it good, and I don't know exactly what pushed us into it. Let's take a quick look real quick. I mean, we got an Oni Cult Anvil. We had a couple of early removal spells. We had Voltage Surge, Kami's Flare, Synthesizer early. It's a good start to a deck. We just never filled it out with anything that really did anything. I mean, we have good removal early, but as soon as they play a creature that outclasses that, we have nothing left to do. We have 1/1s, 2/2s, 1/4s. I mean, there's really no power in this deck to get anywhere. So hopefully you can learn when building your own red-black decks from this one in how not to build them. But don't forget to stick around to the end of this video to toggle through our trophy playlist. I promise you we have trophied in this format before, even if this draft certainly was not emblematic of that. Or to find the last video in case you missed it. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow for your daily draft.